It's the highlight of any tourist trip. They come to see the rich oasis culture of the Uyghur people. By race, they are not Chinese at all. But all Chinese nuclear bombs have been detonated in their homeland. A local contact takes us to secret meetings with more patients. Radiation can cause children to be born with cleft palates. Here we meet one such child out of the many born into families living downwind of the test zone.
After the bombs were exploded 10 years ago, in the towns near the test site, many children were born with cleft palates. We found that for every 10 patients, 8 had cleft palates.
For a doctor to see 8 out of 10 child patients with cleft palates is unusual and a clear indication of the effects of the nuclear tests.
The incidence of congenital deformities is very high. We also have deformities such as enlarged stomach, enlarged bowel, enlarged head, and gynecological problems. There are many children with deformities that we never find out about. They just die. Nobody has ever said it, but we think the nuclear pollution is the cause.
This 6-year-old boy is typical of the children we meet. His doctor's report states that his brain has not formed normally.
So what things can he do now? Can he walk now?
His small brain, leading to severe learning difficulties, indicates yet another congenital abnormality.
Oh, he's a bit unstable.
People from Kashgar, Hotan and the other areas around here, when they find out how difficult treatment is and how much it costs, they have to take their children home because they just don't have the money. The parents tell the children that it's God's will if they live or die.
Since the mid-1980s, the Chinese government has encouraged thousands of tourists to visit the region. But in the same period, unknown to the Silk Road holidaymakers, the Chinese detonated 18 nuclear bombs beneath the ground. They claim that they are safe, but radiation from those tests is known to have escaped into the atmosphere. Fallout was detected in neighbouring countries and even as far away as Japan. 5 weeks into our trip, we hear from Anwar again. He's made another crucial breakthrough. We rush back to Urumqi. Anwar's high-risk strategy has paid off. He's managed to obtain a highly confidential document from inside the Chinese medical establishment. The paper is marked, restricted, take care of this document. It is a desperate plea for more cancer facilities and ends, we cannot wait a moment longer.
Well, I mean, these figures are really good because it compares the increase in cancer rates per 100,000 for the whole of China and then for the whole of Xinjiang.
The document Anwar has got hold of records the rising incidence of cancer in China since 1965. The figures reveal how from the early 1970s, cancers in the Silk Road towns close to the test site began to rise much more quickly than in the rest of China. By 1990, cancer rates in these towns were more than 30% higher than the national average. Since 1976, the increased radiation dose from the bombs appears to have produced a dramatic increase in cancers. The number of cancers in the Silk Road towns increases even faster as more tests are carried out. These statistics amount to a chilling demonstration of the effects of the radiation on the people who live there. And this secret document confirms what the doctors have been telling us. The types of cancer which are rising the fastest are malignant lymphoma, then lung cancer and leukemia.
Well, that's absolutely astonishing, because, I mean, those are the cancers you'd expect to be associated with radioactivity, would be the lymphatic cancers and the leukemias. So that's just amazing.
Over the years, China has built a wall of secrecy around its nuclear tests. Scientists denied any health effects. Doctors could not research the effects. But here in our possession was the evidence to nail the lie. A colleague arrives from Britain. He stays at our hotel. Like us, he appears to be just another tourist. Now he has to take the vital evidence out of the country. For the past 6 weeks, Anwar has run the daily risk of being informed on. It's time for him to get out. As he leaves, he knows he'll never be able to return to China again. At Beijing airport, he was strip-searched and interrogated for hours. But because he wasn't carrying any evidence, they eventually let him go. When we hear that Anwar and the courier with the tapes are safely out of the country, we destroy any incriminating evidence of our investigation. At the end of our so-called tourist trip, we and the other travellers can leave. The millions of people in Xinjiang do not have that choice. They've had to live through the largest series of nuclear tests carried out in a populated area anywhere in the world. They must grow their food on this contaminated land, drink the water that runs through it, and breathe the air which blows over it.
And one of the worst things is that people there are so aware of what's going on. Everybody talks about it, everybody knows about it, the doctors all seem to know about it, and they're not allowed to say anything, they're not allowed to protest, and the doctors aren't allowed to do any research into the subject at all. It's all undercover, it's all secret. And that's one of the worst things.
While the Chinese government continues to hide the appalling truth of its nuclear tests, like this 17-year-old girl, countless thousands are suffering the cruel consequences.
This winter my daughter really suffered from the pain. Because she couldn't bear it, she kept saying, "Maybe we should cut my legs off. I really can't bear the pain anymore." I didn't know what to do. I tried to hold her, comfort her. One time she even said goodbye to us. She said, "Bye, Mum. Bye, everyone. I can't bear the pain anymore."